Welcome to the Siddha Podcast. I'm the host, Dr. Stella Watke, and today's guest is Klaus Reiter. Welcome, Klaus. It's wonderful to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Mhm.
Hi.
Klaus Reiter has a master's degree in English and sports, and he is an English and sports teacher in the countryside of Austria in the heart of Europe. He has taught at a high school for over 30 years. He's also a bioresonance therapist, and we will hear more about this frequency-based therapy in today's episode. Klaus is deeply rooted in Kriya Yoga, the Kriya Yoga tradition after Paramahansa Yogananda and Roy Eugene Davis since the 1990s, and he is also a minister of the Center of Spiritual Awareness with the headquarters in Lakemont, Georgia. Welcome again, Klaus. Klaus, to start with, would you like to share your story with us? How did you end up doing what you are doing today?
Okay. Well, yeah. So I was born in Austria in 1966, and from an early age onwards, I felt an inner yearning to know and feel or experience this one reality, which is often called God. And I grew up in a small village and was raised Catholic. However, I soon discovered that there had to be more than I was told. And when I was 17, that was in 1984, my father, who was a meditator and a yogi, took me on a trip to India. And there I had my first contact with meditation and authentic yoga practice. And when I was 24, I met Roy Eugene Davis, and I soon knew that I didn't have to look anymore, that I had found somebody who could show me the way. And in 2011, I was accepted to serve in the Kriya Yoga tradition. And well, I'm married. I have two grown-up children. I work as a high school teacher, and since 2018, I also have been a bioresonance therapist. I have a small meditation group, and now and then I present seminars where I teach meditation and Kriya Yoga. Well, I consider myself really to be very lucky. I was able to spend quite some time at my guru's retreat center and to see him frequently, and also live quite close to two disciples of my guru, Harald and Malis Reiske, who also have a Kriya Yoga center and who I regard as my spiritual mentors. Well, that's about it.
Yes, and we should add that we actually also met at the center in Passau from Harald and Marlies Reiske, and you accompanied me, or you were my guide at my first trip to Lakemont, Georgia, and showed me around the grounds and introduced me to Roy personally. So that was a wonderful trip.
Yes, it was.
And yeah, we have spent as much time as we could always there to do private retreats there. Um, you have already told us that you have been a Kriya Yogi and meditator for over 35 years. How would you say that Kriya Yoga and your meditation practice has impacted your life?
Oh, well, yes. Well, I have been a meditator for quite a long time, yes. But I have to admit that it took some years for me until my practice became stable and regular. And looking back, one of the most obvious effects of my meditation and Kriya practice is that it seems that all the extreme ups and downs are removed from my life or have been removed from my life. The spikes are removed. So you become more detached. And However, this doesn't mean that you're less happy. On the contrary, it means that you can enjoy life more, that you can see all the wonderful aspects of your life better, that you become thankful and humble. So I would say I'm a happier person now. And regular meditation also means that your relationships become more harmonious. It becomes easier to be successful, I would say. You can actualize your project and also be in the flow of things. When you need something, it's there.
Mhm.
And of course, instead of feeling separated, you experience yourself as being a part of the whole. And well, when you fall out of this realization, you know that you again have to deepen your practice. Yeah. So I would say it has changed my life a lot, or I couldn't imagine a life without it. Mm.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Often people start meditating enthusiastically, but then they have a hard time to integrate the daily meditation practice into their life. Um, would you like to share how you integrate your spiritual practice? And as you said, you're a father, you're a husband, you have two jobs. So how do you do it yourself?
Yeah, I think this is a very important question because it really is a challenge for many. And yeah, you have a job, family, house, and whatever, many things to do, many duties. And so it's not easy to find time for regular practice.
And often I have to add is that it's not everyone in the household shares the same spiritual practice, right? So,
Of course, yes. So at the beginning, this was a challenge for me as well. And what really helped me was the realization that if you want results, you just have to do it.
yeah.
Um, so, one may feel this inner yearning, which is wonderful because it leads you to practice. But if you don't practice, nothing will happen, nothing can change. So realizing this and also taking self-responsibility was a big step for me in the right direction. And we were taught by our guru, no one can do for you what you have to do for yourself. So really, one thing is just do it. And the other thing which helped me and a lot and might help meditators is the advice and example of my guru, because he recommended to get up early in the morning and meditate while your family and the world is still asleep. So the early morning is really a very good time to meditate for several reasons. On the one hand, there are no duties that have to be fulfilled. It's quiet. You really have time for yourself. And after restful sleep, patterns tend to be quieter, which is very positive for meditation. And if you meditate early in the morning, you have already done the most important thing uh, for the
Yes.
day. And then you can tend to your duties with full energy. And of course, no, self-discipline comes in here as well. So when you don't feel like doing it, you have to learn that you do it anyway. So my advice is, well, be clear about what you want, take self-responsibility, meditate early in the morning, be self-disciplined, and of course, open your heart and your core of being to God every day as often as possible. Um,
So wonderful advice. Thank you. Um, apart from being a teacher and a minister, you also started serving clients as a bioresonance therapist. What is bioresonance therapy, and how did you hear about it?
okay. Yeah. So in short, bioresonance therapy, so in bioresonance therapy, we work with frequencies, and this is done with the help of a device. The underlying thought behind bioresonance therapy is that any matter basically is nothing but condensed frequency. So everything is condensed frequency. And of course, also the human body, all the different tissues and organs are condensed frequency. And with with a bioresonance device, the person who is getting the therapy is offered a set of frequencies according to the condition you want to heal, or where you want to support the healing process. And well, my personal history with bioresonance therapy started about 8 years ago. Then my mother-in-law had been suffering from what could be described as a malfunctioning of her body's wound healing ability. So when she had a little scratch somewhere on her leg, for example, uh, this wouldn't heal. It would, um, well, it would develop into bigger and bigger wounds. And this was a real problem. Everything had been tried out, of course. She had also had, for example, a skin transplant and so on. Nothing really helped, and she was at the point of losing a limb because of that. And so my wife, who is a medical doctor, she had heard of bioresonance therapy, and she located a good therapist, and I offered to be the driver, to drive my mother-in-law to the therapy sessions regularly. And well, um, her wounds stopped getting bigger. They started to heal. And after about 7 months of regular therapy sessions, the condition was gone. All right, so this was really astounding, astonishing.
Mhm.
And also during that time, I hurt my knee severely during rock climbing. So my menisci, the ligaments, and the cartilage was damaged. And instead of choosing knee surgery, I chose bioresonance therapy. And after 3 months of regular therapy sessions, I could again do any sport I liked. So all of this really convinced me of the power of bioresonance therapy, and then I started a training, or say an education, to become a therapist myself.
Great. Can you explain a little bit in more detail, like how does that work? Do we know how any or specific organ should resonance, or what kind of main frequency it has, or are there general healing frequencies applied? How is the diagnosis working? So how does that
Okay.
go?
Um, all right. So there's a lot of experience already there in bioresonance therapy. So there are certain frequencies recommended for certain conditions. So the therapist then can just choose or apply what he or she thinks makes sense. And well, um, how do you measure? How do you
Mhm.
analyze? Um, there are some bioresonance devices that measure, analyze, and evaluate the client's frequencies via what look like a set of big headphones, and then therapeutic frequencies are suggested, and the therapist gives those to the client with the help of the bioresonance device. I do it a little bit differently. I don't have such a analyzing device yet. So what I do is um, I talk to the client first. I listen carefully. I listen also carefully for little hints and clues, always from a holistic point of view. Um, and and then I do some testing with the help of a kinesiological muscle test. So with this, you can find out in which regions of the body the flow of energy is strong or weak. And in addition, you can also do some testing where you combine the bioresonance device and this kinesiological muscle test. For example, you can find out which specific frequencies strengthen or weaken a client's psychophysiological system. And so mm, that's how the analyzing process is done. And then you have a certain overall picture, and then you start with your therapy.
And how are the frequencies then applied? You mentioned headphones, and on a video I saw something like a mat where people are laying on. So how are they
Well, the
limited?
frequencies are applied via what we call as flexible electrodes that are attached to certain parts of the body,
Okay.
regions, whatever. Yeah, that's how it's done.
Okay. um,
Well,
how many sessions are usually required for a client before, they see an effect, or how long do they come back until you say, okay, that's the therapy is done?
okay, well, that depends really, and it's different with every person. You can't really say. Um, Maybe I would like to mention something about the outgoing or the applied frequencies,
Mm,
because I think this is a special feature of bioresonant therapy, that the applied frequencies are adjusted to the individual needs of the client.
mhm,
So you do this by feeding the bioresonance device with some input frequencies taken from either certain regions of the body via these flexible electrodes, or also by using the frequencies of, for example, of the client's saliva or hair, whatever. So you adjust the given frequencies individually. I think this is a special feature of bioresonance therapy. And and you, it really depends. It's very, it differs a lot. Sometimes after one or two sessions, the results that you want can be had, and sometimes it's a process really that goes over weeks or months, sometimes even years, where people uh, come regularly to have some support until they can finally get rid of their condition.
yeah.
So
So
you,
it also depends on the severity when someone comes, right? Is it a little scratch, or is it a severe, illness or allergy they had for their whole life?
of course, yes, that's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah. Um, you mentioned allergies.
Yeah.
Yes. So for example, so there are many people who have allergies, all kinds of allergies. There are food allergies, or also pollen allergies. And here, very often, people come regularly during the pollen season, every 3, 4 weeks. Then it's fine with them. They don't need any drugs. And when they feel well, they need another support session, they come again, and then next year it's the same. And sometimes after 2 or 3 seasons, well, the problem is completely solved.
And is the idea there that, for example, with allergy, that it's basically a frequency, whatever triggers the allergy, right? So is the idea that the body learns to go into resonance with that frequency better and is not triggered anymore, or how does that work, or what's the
Yeah.
idea?
Yeah, when we treat allergies, we do this by using what we call inverted frequencies. This means we take the frequency of the substance or whatever the person is allergic to, and then we invert these frequencies. So we uh, give or apply the exact opposite frequency of the
Mm,
frequency that causes the problem, so that and then um, so that the problem is, we would say, neutralized.
mm,
Um, and and then the healing power of the system can do the rest. So with bioresonance therapy, as I think with any other therapy, what you can do is, well, you can support the system so that it can well, go into the self-healing process, really. That's all we do. Yeah. Um,
And yeah, when you say that the frequencies are inverted, do they describe in what way? I mean, is the phase basically changed, or is it a different opposite frequency that is applied?
it's just the opposite frequency, so that when you have two frequencies that are exactly the same, uh, and but invert one is in they are inverted, then they neutralize each other. All right.
Okay,
So that's how we try to do this. Yes.
all right. Um, who does typically benefit from this form of treatment?
Um, well, I would say that with this, you can support any condition, any problem. Uh, of course, there are some conditions where there's a lot of experience in bioresonance therapy, and but basically anyone with any condition can be supported with this kind of therapy, I would say.
Are there any main application areas or main areas what you're dealing with? Are they more physiological or psychological?
I would say there are more physiological area or problems that I'm dealing with. Uh, However, sometimes you can't really separate it. Yeah. Very often there is, of course, a psychological reason as well. And but sometimes also people come with a real psychological problem, and we can also do something there, can support there as well.
Mm,
And very often, of course, psyche and body are combined. Yeah. Uh, for example, I could give you an example. 2 years ago, an 8-year-old boy came who he had the problem that he wet his bed every night. And of course, everything had been tried and done. And so what we did is we, of course, supported him on the physiological level, but also then what is important is also the therapeutic, the relationship between the therapeutic and the client, and also I would say the intuition of the client. What are you asking for, and so on. What are you doing? Which frequencies are you applying? And here I think what really helped in this case was when I found out that his grandfather had committed suicide. And so this young boy was under extreme pressure. And after 5 sessions, the problem was solved. Uh, all
great.
right. Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. Awesome. Um, yeah, I think it's really fascinating, all these approaches with frequencies, and I think really they are upcoming, strain of well-being and health. And I hope that we will find a lot more research also in these regards, because often, I mean, frequency therapies and sound mantra practice that is centuries, thousands of years old, but compared to how it's practiced and applied and how successful it is applied and how powerful it can be, there's compared to relatively little research in what we understand as research, scientifically research right now. So yeah, I hope to find that we will find more of that, so we know exactly how frequencies, you know, what are good or what are, I think there are no bad frequencies, but what supports the system more. And often there are frequencies uh, which are easier absorbed by the system and support relaxation and healing more so than others.
That's right, yes. And what is also the case, so as far as I uh, found out or concluded is uh, at certain times, certain frequencies are perfect, and at other times, other frequencies are perfect. So
Mm,
you can't say, of course, I think there are, of course, general healing frequencies, as we could say, but on the other hand, there are also, uh, well, certain conditions need certain frequencies, and also these differ a little bit from individual to individual.
right.
So this individualized approach maybe is what is special about bioresonance therapy in general.
Yes, but I think that's for any form of therapy and also in the medical field, like even if you go to, prescribing a medicine or a drug, which one of the ones which are out there are prescribed and which amount. So, and when are they are supposed to be taken. So I think there's always an individualization there. Anyways, hopefully, I think, because we are all the same but different.
That's
So,
correct. Yes.
right.
Yeah.
How can people get in touch with bioresonance practitioners? Is there a register how to find them, or
I'm not aware of a register where to find them, but I think when you go on the internet and look for bioresonance therapy or therapists, you will find many. And I think this is this is quite easy, and there are there are some around.
okay?
At least in Austria, we have really a number of bioresonance therapists. Mm.
And I think it's mostly in Europe right now. Or do you know of anything in the US?
I don't think that it's done in the US. I think in South America, bioresonance therapy is used, and mostly Europe.
And is bioresonance the general term for the form of therapy, or is it the company you're working with?
It's the general. It's the term for this kind of therapy, and the company whose device I'm using has a different name. It's called
Okay,
Wingrid. Yeah.
okay. How can people get in touch with you?
Well, you know, as I'm a school teacher as well, so I can't have, well, 50 patients a week or 50 clients a week. So I really don't have a website, and it's um, it's also not needed for me at the moment because people come to me and then when they're satisfied, they talk to their friends and then they are call other people and more and more. So
Yeah.
it's really a process that goes by itself, I would
Yeah,
say.
it's word by mouth. Yeah,
Yes. Uh,
yeah,
and however, of course, um, you can add my email address
yeah,
so that everybody who wants to be in touch with me can do that,
yeah.
of
So
course.
we'll add your email below when you're watching this interview on YouTube. You can find the contact of Klaus Reiter. Klaus Reiter, thank you again very, very much for being the guest here at the Siddha Podcast. Would you like to add something or have advice for people?
Well, yes. Well, what could I say finally? Um, maybe a piece of advice is always, view and feel yourself as completely healthy, as radiantly healthy, that this is your natural condition. Um, so live and think from this perspective. And also view and feel yourself to have harmonious relationships, that this is also your natural way of dealing with others. Uh, View and feel prosperity and abundance as your natural condition, and also view and feel spiritual awareness as your natural condition.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, Klaus. It was a pleasure and honor to have you. And yeah, thank you for watching this interview. If you like it, please like the video. You can subscribe the podcast and my channel if you want to hear more. And yeah, take good care and see you soon. All right, bye bye.